The most sophisticated trap in modern Christianity. Picture yourself standing back from a structure you have spent years assembling, every piece placed with precision, every surface polished until it gleams. From the outside, it is stunning. People walk past and nod with approval. They take photos. They tell you how solid it looks. But the moment you step back far enough to see the foundation, your stomach drops. There is no weight-bearing core underneath. What you built is elaborate, breathtaking, and held together by the applause of people who never looked beneath the surface. And one day fire will touch it. Scripture promises that. 1 Corinthians 3 tells us every work will be tested, and what is built with straw will not survive the flame. The energy you spend on what is seen while the unseen crumbles is not a scheduling problem. It is a worship problem. Here is the trap, stated plainly. It is not obvious sin. That would be easier to spot. It is curated righteousness, the careful management of your spiritual reputation, so that others think well of you, while the God who sees in secret finds nothing genuine to reward. So here is the question this video exists to press into your chest. Are you living for temporary approval or for eternal recognition? Because you cannot stack both currencies in the same account. What the trap actually is. Curated approval is the management of your spiritual reputation for human eyes. It is the choreography of looking faithful without the costly surrender of being faithful. And do not mistake this for garden variety hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is knowing you are fake and not caring. This trap is worse. You can be entirely sincere in your efforts to appear devoted and still be hollow underneath. Here is the distinction that splits everything. Genuine holiness seeks God as the primary witness. Curated righteousness seeks witnesses. One prays to be heard by heaven. The other performs prayer so the room takes note. The actions look identical from the cheap seats, but the direction of the gaze reveals which kingdom you are building for. This trap is sophisticated precisely because it wears the vocabulary of faithfulness. Nobody wakes up and says, "Today I will construct a counterfeit spiritual life." They wake up and say, "I should post that devotional thought." They say, "I need to serve more visibly at church." The language is discipleship. The motivation, if you are honest enough to dig, is being known as the kind of person who does those things. There is a hunger underneath all of this. God made you to be seen and known and delighted in. That ache is not sinful, it is designed. But ever since the garden, we have reached for what only God can give and settled for a copy made by people. The digital age has weaponized this hunger. Every platform becomes a stage. Every life becomes a display. Your spiritual practices become content. Your pain becomes a post. Your testimony shrinks into a bio. And without realizing it, you enter a transaction. You hand over eternal currency, the reward that comes from God alone, in exchange for temporary applause that evaporates the moment the screen refreshes. The comments dry up, the likes slow down, and you are left with the sinking realization that you made a trade and lost everything that mattered. This is not a modern invention. Scripture diagnosed it long before there was an algorithm to exploit it. Jesus opens Matthew 6 with surgical precision. He does not begin with murder or adultery. He goes straight for the religious impulse to perform. Beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them. The warning is not against righteousness. It is against practicing it for an audience. Then he walks through 3 case studies: giving, praying, fasting. The 3 pillars of Jewish devotion. And in each one, he draws the same contrast between 2 stages. The public stage has a spotlight and an immediate payoff. The secret stage has no witnesses except the Father. When you give, do not sound a trumpet. When you pray, go into your room and shut the door. When you fast, wash your face so no one can tell. The chilling phrase arrives at the end of each example. They have received their reward in full. The transaction is complete. The applause they got is all they will ever get. There is nothing waiting for them on the other side of eternity. God does not owe back pay for performances he never commissioned. Do you feel the weight of that? You can fill a church roll for 40 years and never receive anything from God because you already cashed the check with people. The payment cleared the moment someone said, "She is so committed." And there is no double dipping in the economy of the kingdom. Paul takes this same knife and twists it further in Galatians 1 verse 10. Am I now seeking the approval of man or of God? Or am I trying to please man? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ. He does not say it is difficult to do both. He says it is impossible. The Greek construction leaves no middle ground. The pursuit of human approval and the service of Christ are mutually exclusive trajectories. You're building a life that won't last, or a life of eternity,